so. No Baba Nindra Lagani Adayami Sanje Chedan Soji Chonan La Chanchu Badu Dani Jazoji Dagi Chijin Jiga Tonanji Chola Penji Sanje Druva Jo Sanje Chedan Soji Chonan La Chanchu Badu Ye Dagi Chijin Jiga Tonanji Chola Penji Sanje Druva Sanje Chedan Soji Chonan La Chanchu Badu Dani Jazu Sanje Sonanje Drola Penji Sanje Druva Yo Lada Lame Mitamji Ombodan Jajin Soji Jola Chava Javana Sanje Sumbara Shin to Yuru Tadashi Temejin in the Jajin Tenji Chava de la Chula Tajin Developing Judgments in the Ambitan Levatula to Vesunishin and Makoyotana and Momentum. Draw Gunji done on Chisamba Tamja Gado Dagu Dendo. No Lazada. You go much have a Ondo Yang Gasso. Churchy in like image, really Tade Roma in. Dembe Churchy Cheraki, Tay Yawa Yonsu Jenny. Or Jenny, that's Sumanashi in Jenny. 다 가소래 지리sem전 탐제기 규지 아니 셈라 셈라시지 동반랑에我也没吧 제가 아니 티버숨지 가사숨보디기 아니 셈지라신 셈라시지 동반에 我也没吧 没吧 인바인장 최지인의 이미지
So, taking a quotation from Maitreya's Abhisamaya Alankara, then within that it says that there is no indivisibility in Dharmadhatu, in the ultimate sphere of reality, referring to that that there is no indivisibility in indivisibility in that empty nature of the mind of the sentient being's mental continuum. Generally speaking, in a sentient being's mental continuums, mental continuum being by nature empty. In that there is no indivisibility. And when we talk specifically about sentient beings of the three types of vehicles, in their mental continuum too, then there is no indivisibility with respect to its nature being empty. So that is the first the connotation of the first meaning of the first line, that there is no indivisibility in the ultimate sphere of reality.
Oh yeah.
Indivisible. No divisibility.
No.
No divisibility.
Oh yeah. There is a church in La Yemesi, Rene Tadaruma, Yensiri, Yanduji Tibada, Rajaji Tibada, Tiji Tiba. Tiba somebody Kasa, Lagi, and Tiba Sumji, Sum Edu, Irungumare, Tiba Timbo somebody Kasaki, Sim the Longum, all you are married, Suare.
So, in the case of the sentient beings, individuals of the three types of vehicles, those persons, those beings, mind being empty of true existence, in that nature there is no divisibility.
Well, there is another cousin, Mama Shuana, she say, come to turn the come said the Rilla. Rick said the Anquasaka Guaresana, and down, and Gula Coguare. Right? Do you want to channel quiet that? Then you want to channel quiet. But do you want to channel quiet the country? Bena, Sim Dendon Cora Juda Mare de Sim Dendon Mine, Papa Church, Toba Jua in Zang. Do you want to channel me die? sim de don de la rix ta go de creation you want to chase na kola million go be pa be che go to ba jia de ju ba yin zang ani ri jia jia chi.
So when we talk about the Tathagata Garbha, or the basic constituent, which is also known as the lineage at the base, also, the basis, and also the cause, also known as the cause. Why is that? It's because the mind, which is empty of true existence, when one focuses on the empty, that mind being empty of true existence, then that becomes the cause for generating all the phenomena of realizations in the Arya realizations, all those realizations of phenomena in the mind of an Arya. Those realizations are brought forth due to the cause of focusing on the mind being empty of true existence. So therefore, it is this lineage is also given the name of being a cause.
That Yuramaja Batana City Gala Ani Nangaki Sujan Shanju Yago Quachaba Rango Kosa Nangala, Ani Sujan Shanju Quachaba, the Shindu Bella, Ani Simji Rashi Yosawa, Sim Dondon Tegi Yang, Ani Langaji Toba Javala Quacheva.
And then when we talk of the lineage as being like a base, as opposed to a cause being a base, then it's the same as like the space. Acts as a vessel or receptacle for allowing for all of these forms, then to take place in the same way. Then just as how it is like in space, then the mind being empty of true existence, then the mind, the clear light nature of the mind has the same function like that of the space in being like a receptacle.
Oh yeah, this is that. Tibasum jirik sena. Ani yendu ki chanju turung ki, yendu kansa ki tuji yendu chanju turung ki.
So when we talk about
Ranja to schedule, yendu ji to be there and scenery sena, yendu kansa ki tuji yendu loa tuji to be there and scenery. Ranja loa tuji to be there and scenery. Ranja ki randa. Teaching any teaching the oh, the Casore, Chasung Juji, any Chanju Chuni de la teaching to be there as in areas. That day, Lam de Shung, Mashu, La Mashubadu, Yamari. Rang to be there as in the Yanduji Ritam, Lamashuna, Aram Lamashuna Yachoko, Yanduji, Ranjajiri, Rashineri said,
Lamashubala Joris. Then Rashineri
to be there as in to be there as.
So the basis, which like when we talk about the lineage of the lineage of the three types of individuals, the lineage of the hero, the lineage of the solitary realizer, the lineage of the Mahayana Bodhisattvas. When we talk about this lineage, then it is this lineage is possessed by all, whether they have entered or not entered into the path. So here, when we talk about the basis, is the basis of the the basis for the naturally the basis for the natural purity, and then rationality, rationality. So you can, so the basis of the natural the naturally abiding basis for accomplishing the Mahayana enlightenment, the basis, the naturally abiding basis for accomplishing the solitary realizes enlightenment, the naturally abiding basis for accomplishing the hero's enlightenment, like that.
Tiba sumbo degi sem den don de la mine gombe ani nyimo bongwa de bang nyimo bongwa de chunggu are chungwa yinjang ani ri ta de ba sum yong che ge ma re mo chi chi jing mo de ani bu la de mine gombe ani nyimo bongwa de chunggu are yinjang tiba sum ri ta de ba so ye yong gu ma re si ga la
So with regards to the lineage of the beings of the three types of vehicle, in that lineage there is no divisibility, because by focusing on the emptiness of the true existence, of the truly existing mind, one is able to abandon all of the afflictions, and that is the same for all of the lineages of the three vehicles. And because Krangi Ching Ngor Ken Karso Tingel Ching Ngor Chigres. Something don't make no more what the cheaper check. And also, its nature is that its nature is the same in being indivisible, or indivisible. So. That they have the lineages of the three types in regards to the individuals of the three types of vehicles. That nature of that lineage is the same with regards to it being suchness, Dharma Dhatu, and same with regards to its, when one focuses on the empty nature of the empty of Sem being the mind being empty of true existence, that with respect to all of these three lineages, then one is able to abandon the afflictions. So in this way, then this is what is meant by that there is no divisibility of the lineages, as there is no divisibility in the Dhamma Dhatu.
I take it la. Tembe chuji cheraki ti yawa yonsu che se gana len yi jabi. Ambi rimba ki wangi. Ani ambu member nyandu ki te. Nyandu ki ambu member chane nyandu ki semte dong. Ambu dringi chane ranja ki semte dong. Ani ka sore ambu nyambo ki chane ambi rimba ki wangi ambi wangi ani birimenda wasum shakire se chi len chi jang.
So then there is an answer to this presentation that the phenomena that depend upon this type of lineage or in this kind of indivisibility of the Dhamma Dhatu is differentiated by the capacity is intellect. Those of a lesser or inferior intellect of the hearers, those of the middling average intellect of the solitary realizers, and those of the highest intellect of the Mahayanas. So differentiated by the differentiated by the mind or the capacity that depends upon these phenomena.
땡기고는 민다요 개바지 랭자야 되라 아니 배나 짐바지랑 엄마 투진시 주 짐바지랑 엄마 좋아 그래서 아니 메시지기 소당와기 아니 품바수 요아이나 그래서 품바수 뭐 되라 아니 내도 장지당 아니 리카당 아니 샤라서와 루사서나 아니 주진바지랑 엄마 메시지송이 소당위 땡 품바들라 개바요아 말에 내지왕기 아니 장지 품바당 리카게 품바다 쇼이 품바 체니 쇼바나시 체니
리카르스나
라 리카르스나 다소마 시고르
라 다소마
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 너무 사야팅 다소마 시고왕로
다소마 가래
먼저 다소마 표게르한테 다소마 싱데니까 시가라서 가
알레
다소마 시그로와
알레
다소마레 시가라
알레 like using the example of the base, difference of the base, as an example to illustrate the difference of the base, then you have in being a vase or a vessel, it is the same, but you have like a vessel of clay, or a vessel of metal, and a vessel of precious gems, a kind of priceless kind of vessel, or one vessel that which contains honey, or a vessel that contains molasses, a vessel that contains like yogurt.
Oh yeah, that's a nice area. 년도지 주비랑신에리 스나 아니 년도 가사기 유지 아니 년도 그 장주 주론 그 청이돼
So
란자 그 주비랑신잖아 란자 람슈 그 가사기 유지 란자 그 장주 주론 그래 대신 가사기 유지 대신 장주 주론 그래데 대신 주비 대랑신에리 스타투스 그거래.
So when we talk about the base on the naturally abiding base for accomplishing the hero's enlightenment is that lineage which has the propensity for transforming into the hero's state of enlightenment. And when we talk about the naturally abiding base of a pratyeka, then it refers to that lineage which has the potency for transformation, being transformed into that solitary realizes state of enlightenment. And then when we talk about the natural abiding base for accomplishing the Mahayana enlightenment, then it is that lineage which has the potency for transformation into that state of Mahayana enlightenment. So, for example, the lineage which exists, that lineage which exists within the continuum of a Shravaka, which has the potency for transformation into the Shravaka's enlightenment, also has the potency for transformation into the Mahayana enlightenment, but it is not the naturally abiding base for accomplishing Mahayana enlightenment. It has the potency for it has the potency for transformation into the Mahayana enlightenment, but it is not said to be the base. In the case of the that potency for a Shravaka's enlightenment, you cannot say that it is the base for the natural abiding base for accomplishing Maya enlightenment.
타도 티바 찍도 주바 세대 가라 다 텐데스리라 타도 티바 숨도 줍스리가라 타도 티바들라 숨체니 타도 년대지 티바 타도 란자기 티바 타도 산제 디진 티바 세리가라 인디가라 티바 숨도 줌겐기 타도 티바 숨도 줌나 다 년대기 잔지 주름 그래데 아니 가라서 라신네리 티진 잔지 주름 그 말이.
So when we talk about one final vehicle, or when we talk about there being three final vehicle, the final vehicle of a Shravaka, the final vehicle of a Pradika, the final vehicle of a Mahayana. When asserting three final vehicle, then you would have to say that that lineage which transforms into under three final vehicle, under this assertion, then you would have to say that the potency for attaining Shravaka enlightenment cannot be transformed, has no potency for transformation into the Mahayana enlightenment.
대기 가사 대기 예란이 오데 타도 티바숨도 주디 예란이 오데 타도 예란 그 티바데 춥지 잠바 아니 밤을 주의체 가사 주의체 밤을 주의체 아니 미르바 주의체 두스도 그래 대인상 대진 그 남자 주의체 대진 그 자주 토백 되어 말해.
Because when asserting three final vehicles, then you would just say then you have to say that in the case of the Shravaka and the Pradika, upon their attainment of the enlightenment, the continuum of the person has been severed. The continuum of the lineage, the consciousness, and has been severed, so you would not be able to apply any sort of notion of their entering into the Mahayana path.
나 타도 티바치도 주지 잠바 타도 년대 그 티바데 톱지 잠바 년대 라점에 가마 톱지 잠바 아니 년대 기르데 와마다 년대 기르데 기차래 년대 장주 톱 사와이다 장주 주름 그 형식 말아 장주 톱와이다 장주 주름 그 말해 당아 전대대 장주 주름데 특정 그 장주 주름 그 당신네를 일단 대요하래 이렇게 요하고라 그렇죠.
So under the assertion of one final vehicle, then say when a Shravaka attains the state of Arhat, then you no longer have that kind of potency for transformation into the state of Shravaka's enlightenment, because they have already attained the state of an Arhat of a Shravaka. But because they still have that the naturally abiding with nature, that natural purity, so they have the potency for the Mahayana path.
다좀 토디가나 녀모베 트마탄제단 차와 인장 녀모베 트마다 제비 심지치니 많이 받체 와 트마다 제비 심지치니 받체.
So such an individual who has attained, say, the Shravaka arhatship is free of all defilements, and Nyomo betimada tewares.
You bantarwa, Dajum Tajarwa. Either Nyomo betimada Javi some chinimari. Timada Javi some chiniri.
So this is a state which is Timada Javi Sangi Chinimaris.
Yes.
Timada Javi Sangi
Chinimaris. Be Timada Javi some chinimari. Timada Javi some chiniri.
So in this state, it is a suchness with defilements, but it is no longer a suchness with afflicted defilements. So why do we say this Shravaka Arhantship is a suchness with defilements? Is because it's still the individual still has in the obscuration to knowledge.
좀 톰네 시네 안에 특징들람도 꾸준히 자주 그 셈 깨체니 아무도 가서 특징 담보네 특징 쉬워나시 체니 안에 초람네 송데 초람 조람 통람 톱고 두세 도고를 마시도.
So therefore this arhat then has to enter into the minor path by generating the conventional bodhicitta and just like for an individual from the very beginning engaging in a minor path, then that individual, that arhat has to go through the minor paths of accumulation, preparation, seeing path, seeing meditation, and so forth.
드니사니와 제네사 듬바 개바바도 조고레데 가사데라 가산자와 나시 마다 타바다 시도 남다 스세 제가 말이 봐 사탄빈 내가서 민주 군다가 다 되네 타만 마다바 되네야 제네 가사 개바 톱디가라 안에 가서래 된진 마다바 된진 민주 마다바 대자야 말이
So,
이 가르에서나 그 녀모바다시 녀모비 드바 탐제 년도가 나가서 방차와 인장 마다 다바서 시도 남다데 시도 남다 제야요 와서 제바 파도 방자 좀 바시도 줘야 돼 콜레자요 말이야.
So for such a Shravaka Arhat, when engaging in the from the engaging on these grounds from the first bhumi up to the seventh bhumi, from the first bhumi, which first ground of great joy, up to the seventh bhumi, you cannot apply the same connotation like how we did in the the impure state of impurity, and then pure and impure. Like that, you cannot apply that same notion to such, Shravaka Arhats, because they have already abandoned the obscuration of afflictions. So, like normally, when we apply this impure and pure and impure notion, then it is usually in the context of on the first bhumi you become you overcome the imputed form of grasping a true existence and so forth, and then you accordingly you apply the notion of from impure then pure impure, like that. But that same thing does not apply here in this case of such a Shravaka Arhat. What is applicable for them is only the third, completely pure, from the eighth bhumi onwards.
방자기 제발 봐야 말이 다디 들어와 사dum바 마도 파도 시르뽕 거좀 거 말이 들어와 사제바 마도 파도
So for such a Shravaka Arhat, up until the seventh bhumi, then there is no difference of what is to be abandoned, no differentiation of the objects of abandonment, because the abandonment of the obscuration to knowledge begins only from the eighth level onwards.
방자 봉주 직당 방자 대단대 방의 권한 제 직당 아니 손이 손도 제요 권한 저 선남구 사태단대 선남구 초당 이식소 안에 사태단대 안에 손도 제요 권니 안에 사코마코마야 조고요 인장 나 된다와데 방자 강가 방차라 인장 사이를 막 간데 쳐고래 서는 방자 봉주 권에 체에 말해 와 매와 인장 당보내 특징도 좀 중간 대기 아니 초람 친진 숨기 내가서 소남 그초 치점 사고와데 사심바나 아니 저런도 보여.
So usually progression on the path is made on the basis of whatever objects are to be abandoned and whatever accumulation of merit is the merit of virtue and the merit of wisdom, the two types of the accumulation of the two types of merit. So the combination of these two are the criteria for progression on the path, depending on what is abandoned and how much of the accumulation of the two type of merits are required for a particular progression from one level to the next level. So here in the case of the hero arhat, then that level of progression is not marked by objects of abandonment, but on the basis of the required amount of the accumulation of the two types of merit, as it is in the case of those individuals who from the very outset are set forth on the minor path. And then just like on the first minor path of accumulation, within that path of accumulation you have the small, middling and great minor path of accumulation. Then at those levels, whatever required amount of accumulation of the two types of merit needs to be accomplished for progression on the path. That is a Shravaka Arhat's progression on those paths are marked by the accumulation of the two types of merit.
Tini tishindu sa tambo yang nyamsha da jedo gu naga sonam chizam sawa dena ane sa nyiwa pe o dusi ya pene ane sa timba pa dusi rogore.
So for such a Shravaka Arhat, then during the meditation and during the post-meditation period, whatever amount of accumulation of the two types of merit, of virtue and wisdom are required to be attained, then accordingly, when that is attained, then they progress to the first, progress from the first bhumi to the second bhumi, and when they reach the second bhumi, then during that phase, whatever accumulation of the merit of virtue and the merit of wisdom needs to be accomplished in meditation and in post-meditation sessions, then when that required amount of the two types of accumulation of merit are accomplished, then they progress into the third level and so forth.
Oh yeah, then sa dumba top to tama, then sa jabane sundi da jibache.
Then after they've attained the seventh bhumi, the seventh level, then the eighth bhumi onwards is the same.
Ninjunga mane panchara rede, teaching lamma shupatu ninju panchawa rede, tambo nine teaching to shungen, ane sanje yu kompa dungan tedang, yande dajun tobangu to soni, chang sanje kisha sanje yu kompa dungan tenila, ane ring에 딩에라 산제 도박 다좀바데 도박 부어인바래
괜찮습니다.
한 번에 드지나 주진이야 주니 사주름 이전이 산제 공부 통과에 대당 다음 연도그 다좀 나가서 민주 강가 빵 찬이 되니 드진이야 중간 이후에 채나 상제와라 ring에 뒤져와
yes.
지보도 도박 부어 그 간에 이제 팀에 이제 그 삼바대기
So, it's faster for an individual to attain enlightenment when you are already from the very outset defined in the Mahayana lineage. It's faster that way as opposed to, in the case of the Arhants, the Shravaka Pratik Arhants. First, working on those paths in which you abandon the obscuration of afflictions, and then later kind of re-engage into the minor path, as what is the case for the Shravaka and Pratik Arhants. Then, when you compare those two routes to enlightenment, then it's faster to attain enlightenment if from the very outset you are defined in the minor lineage.
Oh yeah, that's actually why is that the Sanje the Sojela Dene, Shebi, Madabada Tabi Keba, Yomeba Sumba, Shebala Sum said.
So, yeah. So, the Tibetan commentary at the bottom of 256 and the English 123, the immutability during the pure and impure states defined on the basis of Buddha and ordinary sentient beings. The link so the link here is to the root verse 65, within which you what is explained in this verse is the explaining the pure and impure qualities of the four bodhisattvas and the pure and impure qualities of the last life bodhisattva.
So the
first 9 verses then talk of the qualities explain the pure qualities, and then the 10th explains the impurities compared to the Buddha. So explaining the pure and the impure qualities in relation to the Buddha.
나 담보들라 간사 시고데 데레 대단히 셈 담보 째봐 째발라 시와 침미도 봐 째와 지기 토미 찬주선 비연데 세가나 대단히 셈 담보 째봐 세데 다 담보 대단히 셈지 세데 가사 시와 이봐 조장기 내루라 이나 누비 아니 돈용 것음도 또비 셈데라 전남 셈지 시가래 대토바데 가디 토고래서나 사탐부 토바 테네 대토고래 테네 순데 테니 토바 주와이 장주 셈바 시제더니 진예도시 오 사탐부 토바 테네 아니 대한답에 자주 셈 토바래 대토바 이자 대한답에 강사되라 아니 장선 파밤 대한답에 자주 셈바스 전이 저거래 So,
and then first explaining the pure and impure qualities of the four bodhisattvas in the context of presenting the qualities of those who develop ultimate bodhicitta, qualities of those engaged in activities, qualities of non-returners, and qualities of those obstructed by one life. So, qualities of those who develop ultimate bodhicitta. So, the ultimate bodhicitta as explained the other day, is generating of the ultimate bodhicitta. What it refers to is, where all subtle due view has been subsided with regards to one's object of focus, the complete enlightenment. In relation to the object of observation, which is the complete enlightenment, then having set, or where all duality has subsided. So when is this setting of the duality? When does this take place? Is when one attains the first bhumi, and so. And that is when one becomes an Arya Bodhisattva, and that is when one is known as the ultimate Bodhisattva. So when we talk about qualities of those engaged in activities, then it refers to the activities from the first to the seventh bhumi. So from the second bhumi to the seventh bhumi. The non-returner is Gubata Chuba. The last three, the 8th, 9th, and 10th levels are the qualities at those levels. And then the qualities of those obstructed by one life is on the 10th bhumi, when when your enlightenment is just one lifetime away. So with regards to the qualities for the qualities of the ultimate bodhicitta, then you have the qualities for the accomplishment of one's own benefit, and the qualities for the accomplishment of the benefit for the others. So for the qualities for the accomplishment of one's own welfare, then the root text is verse 68, and that gengi tsawat lo nabre tsawari that conqueror children, having realized this immutable reality, are seen undergoing birth and so forth, by those whose eye of wisdom is blinded by the cataracts of ignorance, is wonderful.
Oh yeah, that digi jowa kandere sana jasa jume chunyi jasa sana chanju semba kimi chanju semba la jewi sebo siwade.
So the prince of the conquerors is another name for bodhisattvas. The conquerors' children.
Jasa said, Jigdelen Devi Semdang, Sikana Jigdelen Deva said, Jigdelen Deva Singati, teaching Lam Jadukana, teaching Soje la Jigdemba. Tonam Tona, Jigdelen Deva.
And then the term of mundane and supramundane. If you apply into a Mahayana path, then an ordinary Mahayana being is a mundane, and those beings who have attained the path of seeing are supramundane beings. So we can talk of a mundane or worldly path in relation to the Mahayana path of an ordinary being. An ordinary being's Mahayana path is a worldly path, in a mundane path. Then, in the case of the Mahayana Arya path, that is a supramundane path.
You want me to change Muslim to Tone, say, and just said you may change the said that you want me to change the Muslim to Tone.
So the princes of the conquerors first developed the mind that passes beyond world and moved to the first level where they perceive directly their immutable reality.
This one. No. This one.
The king tanda China lob da lo sha.
You want me to change Muslim to Tone? 다 코유 구발에서는 코유 구바디 코야 동아라 구발에 연유지 왕게 제시라 초양 내가 니모 왕게 제시라 초양 니모 젠지 마리비 미 동반 남지 세가 니모 젠지 마리비 미 롱반 남지 아니 개발렘비 수다르스 연유지 왕게 개발렘비 수당 수다르 니제다 뭐란 게 왕게 깨와다 가와다 나와다 치와다 소와 다도니 아니 마리베 동바 랭유지 깨와랭가 그 마리베 롱바 남지 무슨도 통화 강인바데 다 제지 제주 아니 가설에 타마와다 춤바 땜바데 타마와지 통화 땜바데 타마와 통화데 아니 와다 매춘와데 통화 강인바데.
So, although they are free from the troubles of samsara, from the suffering of samsara, and from birth and death caused by karma and affliction, nevertheless, by the power of compassion and prayer, and in the manner of those blinded by the afflicted ignorance, they are born, become sick, grow old, and die. That this is seen directly even by those blind with ignorance is truly extraordinary and wonderful.
No, this one.
Okay, the gengi tanda China lob da lo sha.
Nebende join but this one. Kuba lenyu kuba said.
Kuba
but lenyu ji wang ge chungwa la choyang nyumong ji jian ji mari ba dongba nam ji se kana mari ba dongba是mari ba longwa che mari mi longwa 那对两年就往个叫啊，这个是个两年就往个叫啊那边，出南新一届的，打叫啊的两年往个叫啊的，马来的，你觉得马龙个往个叫啊的，高啊的，那哇啦，高啊的，那哇的，七哇啦，说哇，七哇的，我说南新一届呢，两年个记住的听吧，马来边当班南京，我是不是通话看一把电把的，但我怎么去话的事情，是吧？
So although they are free from the sufferings of samsara and free from karma and affliction, but these bodhisattvas, they are born through compassion and prayer in the same way as, ordinary sentient beings blinded by ignorance, just as how they are born and go through the experiences of sickness, aging, and death. In the same way, then, these bodhisattvas, although free from the sufferings of samsara, free from karma and affliction, but are born from prayer and compassion in the same manner as ordinary sentient beings, but blinded by ignorance. And so, this birth, and that their birth, free of the troubled samsara caused by karma, that it is seen by ordinary sentient beings is what is so, amazing.
That 아니 창조사와 인지심비 샤왕도 주대 아니 바로 보나 가서래 랭이정 그 진지 치에서 아니 타마와다 송와 땜바 대기 아니 인지심비 연대 땜바 인지심비 여기 연대 그 켜바 땜바 인자 상제를 되대 아니 가서래 마다비 켜바 마다비 차셔봐 임바래.
So these bodhisattvas, out of great compassion, then that they take birth, just like how birth occurs under the control of afflictions and disaction karma. In the same manner, bodhisattvas are out of their great compassion, then take birth in a similar manner, and then go through those experiences. It's the qualities of that mind of compassion, but it is impure in relation to Buddhahood. And then the qualities of accomplishing the welfare of others, which is verse 69. Those who have attained direct perception of reality, that is the object of the activity of superiors, make a display in the objects of activity of children, i.e. birth, aging, sickness, and death. These are the methods and the supreme compassion, which is the cause of the methods of the friends of transmigrators for this world. So, with the attainment of the range of the Aryas, which refers to the total severance of the sufferings of birth, death, etc., the first level bodhisattva, motivated by compassion, shows birth and so forth within the range of ordinary beings. Therefore, they are friends to sentient beings in possession of the best methods and great compassion. So, the Arya bodhisattvas, who have attained the first bhumi, then have abandoned, birth and death and so forth. But out of compassion for the, out of compassion to enact the deeds of benefiting sentient beings, then they display. They display birth, aging, sickness, like that. In that kind of, show these ranges, and then, as such, undertake these activities for the benefit of sentient beings, and as such, then they are known as the friends to sentient beings.
Oh, that 사탄보와기 아니 가서 안 되지 연대다 현대 연대의 생산이.
So this completes the in the qualities for the benefit of the self, qualities for the benefit of fulfilling the welfare of others in relation to the first level bodhisattva.
但你我学罢了修得了，学罢了修那现在了，他几天的那讲，几天就吃面毛给巴当，他别人家的下把你钱。
And so the second, showing the qualities of those engaged in activities. Then the first is, although they dwell in our world, yet they are untainted, and this quality being presented by example and meaning of the example.
他这里谈不得了。 几天的那些提吃面毛个吧，现在呢，俺你早晚了，我等你几天他们家来担心，俺你几天来没有，几天团队几天呢？几天吃面毛个见，现在嘛这。
So this verse is verse 70, untainted, although dwelling in the world, though bodhisattvas on the second through seventh grounds have transcended all of the world through the power of wisdom, they do not stir from the world through the power of compassion. For the sake of ripening the world, they act in the world without being polluted by the defilements of the world.
那这个给完了，3年完呢，准备爬起长就想把天里，按你说叫我谈，年度的让上节去。 几天他们家来，但年度的让3节是呢，所以叫我几天不钱，怕那么多把银子。年度的让3节了，怕那么多把的嘛多把你有把银子。年度的让3节怕那么多把的几天来带我的嘛多几天嘛买的。但谈到你就看的结果的是呢，所以叫我当年度的让3节怕把几银那样。 提前就怕了嘛多把人把提前了对的提前就能在那几天吧，我提送过的是吧？
So bodhisattvas from the second to the seventh level, then you have ordinary sentient beings. Ordinary sentient beings who are regarded as worldly beings, and then you have hearers and solitary realizers. And hearers and solitary realizers, in amongst them you have those that have attained the Arya path and those who have not attained the Arya path. You have both kinds. And those who have attained the Arya path, they are known as supramundane. So, but they are not Mahayana Aryas. So in relation to the Mahayana Arya beings, then they are still mundane.
几天人来讲，几天没出去叫我人比，几天没叫我人把手机出来买点吧，叫我人出几天没叫我人出去出来买一把人，那啦。他当来讲，俺你几天没团度，俺你看说了，几天没团度，几天呢，你要么被向往都去我当。 是吧？几天叫我那边出去，那样，俺你几天把太大给团度，几天呢？你要么被向往都去我当，都根据你们个向往都去我当，都根据东亚级、西级那先去推专门的我说，几天给吃面嘛给我，接近。
So, although bodhisattvas from the second to the seventh level have passed beyond the worlds of ordinary beings, and hearers and solitary realizers, they remain in the world and do not move away from taking birth, etc. Although they remain in the world, they stay and act in the world for the sake of those in the world and are untainted by its contaminations, such as being controlled by afflictions, oppressed by the troubles of suffering and the causes of suffering, and being unable to work for the welfare of others.
哦呀，他几天给 예상을 구배 시기내에 현재 좀 민요바 속에 아니 지금 비트면 막어 봐.
So untainted, untainted with regards to the contaminations such as that of being controlled, being under the control of afflictions, or being traumatized by suffering and the causes of suffering, rendering them unable to engage in the activities benefiting sentient beings. Such untainted by such factors.
배전자리 샤바텔라 아니 치다 빼마 치나도 깨워 치 거와미 대신디니 지단도 깨자 지단 치마고 세데 나이보다
So the example is in verse 71. Just as a lotus grown in water is not sullied by the water, so these bodhisattvas are born in the world for the sake of others, but are not sullied by the worldly phenomena such as afflictive emotions and faults.
지단도 기위 추된 말아서고라 지단도 계장 지단비 추지 계장 지단그 체지 미거데 레니지 계질라 tro싱 아니 삼신도 계와는 봐라 안주와 내 어라메 봐 마인바 라니 삼신도 계와는 비치 계와는 봐라 안주와 인자 계와는 비 제발라 안주 비치.
So just as a lotus born in water is unsullied by the contamination in the water, so these bodhisattvas who are engaged in their activities, meaning bodhisattvas from the second level up to the seventh level who are engaged in their activities, although they are born in the world, are not, their being born in the world is a method, is a means, and not and not surrounded by the worldly dharmas, because they are liberated from birth and death brought on by karma and afflictions, and have complete mastery to decide on their births. So their birth in samsara, then being arising out of intentionally.
Oh, yeah, that dig Jabala Shua says, Kasaniwati. That's so Chimitoba, number 10 Chimitoba said, that Chimitobani, that Tabasum Glajago and that Chimitobani only Chautula Tatulo, mission to Nibaratown. Shivi Sandanium Jula, Tatunyaba Shuba Yin.
So the qualities of the non-returners is applied to the last three pure grounds. And the root verse is 72. The awareness of the awareness of eighth and ninth ground bodhisattvas always blaze in achieving activities for the sake of others, like fire blazing of its own accord in dry fuel, and simultaneously are always set evenly in the meditative equipoise of the concentration, pacifying fictional elaborations.
단 남바 탐제도 7미도바, 7미도바 세야 돼. 아니 장주기 셈라 7미도바, 장주기 셈 산제주 고마토바라 7미도바 쓰리가나 간데지를 쓰고래서나 기타 장주기 셈라 냠바데 초람 드네와 말이. 와 초람 충의지지 셈제되라. 아니 사다유 셈제 쓰도와 사다유 셈제시 이가나 티바 탐제기 티바 침비 연대 탐제 계와 그 시규와 시다유 셈제 인바나 사다유 셈제 쓰고래. 와 다 초람 등기 지지 셈제되라 세다유 셈제 쓰고래. 세다유 셈제시 이가나 셀 카두샤나 세지랑실을 주었다는 매바 인장 초람 드네 아니 자주기서는 냠바 명하래.
So, with regards to the qualities of non-returners, or generally speaking, there is irreversible bodhicitta, never reversing from the state of Buddhahood, or never reversed from attaining that state of Buddhahood. When does one attain such an irreversible bodhicitta? It's like on the minor path. Then you have a small, middling. It is only when one attains the middling level of the minor path of accumulation that one is said to achieve the irreversible bodhicitta. At the first level of the path of accumulation, the bodhicitta that is generated is called the earth-like, the ground-like bodhicitta, because it is the grounds for generating all of the Mayana qualities. Then when one attains the middling level of the Mayana path of accumulation, that bodhicitta is referred to the gold-like bodhicitta, because like gold, there is the nature of that gold is non-changing. So that bodhicitta is irreversible or non-changing. Doesn't that bodhicitta does not undergo change until the attainment of enlightenment? So just like the nature of gold. So when we talk about a remaining unchanged until the attainment of enlightenment, this kind of irreversibility here in this case then is applied to the eighth ground or eighth level, because as explained before, in order to attain the peerless enlightenment, then that kind of irreversibility from that attainment of that enlightenment for the bodhisattvas of the highest intellect, they achieve that non-return, that irreversibility from enlightenment at the path of preparation for bodhisattvas of the highest intellect, and for those of the average intellect or capacity, achieve that irreversibility in the path on the path of seeing, and bodhisattvas of the least intellect or capacity then achieve this irreversibility at the eighth level.
Number Tamja to Chimetoba, Sakabala, Navy, Chanju Semba, Semjenji Ten, Chawan Druba La, Dadu Lo, that did a Jambo Chasha, machine to say, machine to Bawatang, Chawadula, Datuni, machine to Bawatang. Sai Bawatang, Sheve, Ani Sajabe Naga to Shande Pisu Sawa.
In their work for the welfare of sentient beings, the minds of the complete non-returner bodhisattvas on the eighth level constantly blaze like fire. These two lines refer to the perfect accumulation for the sake of others. So at this level, at the eighth level, those bodhisattvas in every respect are non-returners and have achieved the perfect qualities for benefiting others.
Because 아니 동아다 배서 여러 시위 3대 시리가나 다 사자바토나 녀모바 세발 빵바이장 아니 동아당 배서 여와스나 배서 여러 시와 시리가나 배서 자와는 메바 마임바체 배서 라바 여러 시위 3대당
So having abandoned forever all afflictions, they dwell constantly in concentration. So, because of having totally exhausted afflictions and the suffering, so they abide in effortless concentration.
아니 념주라 다도냐마 슈바인데 아니 가서 남바미도 비시라 왕주 토비체 남바미도 비시 아니 돈용모스 토비시라 왕주와 토비체.
So, having abandoned all, they dwell constantly in meditative concentration and the meditative absorption of total pacification of all suffering and striving. This is because they have attained complete mastery over non-conceptual gnosis, having gained mastery of the wisdom directly realizing emptiness.
차원두지 동안 영어를 시비냐대에서나 다 심지 춘이 차원두지 그 동안다 차와 그러다 네 토베데 차원두지 그 동안다 저기 심지 춘이데 과토거를 사탄본에 토아인바 사탄본에 차원두지 그 동안 빵바이다 파벨치단 가와다 나위 동안 자나 차원두지 그 동안 빵바래 인자 차원두지 그 동안 영어를 시비 냐대에서나 semgi cheni de chawandu che gu dunga da chawa yinzang cheni koran chawandu che gu dunga sa jeba ji cheni koran chawandu che gu dunga nyawa shiwi nyandere.
Although they have the ability to actualize the nirvana, that is the pacification of the all-pervading suffering, they have destroyed any possibility of the kind of mind arising that strives for liberation solely for their welfare. So this the suchness of the mind, which has totally pacified the pervasive suffering, pervasive form of suffering, suffering of pervasive conditioning, then this is what has already been attained from the first level itself. As Arya beings, then one is free from the suffering, from the sufferings of pervasive conditioning of birth, aging, sickness, and death.
니시데 자와도제 도안여바시 니시 냥대데 다 루딜라 돈유라 샤인다 과대 돈이스 되고와 인자 고비 덴바 돈이스 되고와 인자 냥대체
So,
란지바 menja라이나 과대 군조 대바 인자 란지바기 군조 대바 샤과레.
So here in this total pacification of the total pacification of the suffering of pervasive conditioning is a state of liberation and therefore cessation. It is a cessation, and from the point of view of the Swatantrika Madhyamika onwards, then they assert liberation as a conventional phenomenon.
But nyawashivi nyande ngondu chenyu jang seyade nyande ngondu chezu dela ani kaso tenmenji wandu chevi nyande ngondu chezu jidang tikjenji wandu chevi nyande ngondu chezu jigi nisha gware.
So in attaining the liberation, which is the total pacification of all suffering, then this kind of liberation attained are of two: the one that is attained in the Hinayana path, and that liberation that which is attained in the Mahayana path.
다디 차와두지가 동안 녀라 시위 냥대 천이 태라 아랑게 사모라 되디 라미담이 수시 라 라미담이 수지냐 바샤야 지당 냠샤텔라 란 자완의 날 미당 냠바 샤주지 니 전에 팀면지 왕도 제와 특제 왕도 제와 되래 아 랑게 삼모라 되듯이 이거나 소소기 로용 아니요 로라 되데 아닌데 자완의 날 미당 냠바 지당 춘 냠샤텔라 자완의 날 미당 지기 니 와체
아 라르미당다 자원의 라르미당
냠샤라 날 미당 자원의 날 미당 춘된도 냠샤라 미당 직체 랑게 삼모라 되듯이 날 미당是吧 소시 300원을 되듯이 날 미당 냠바기 니 요아레스 아
디케바 가려래 그 지금
지부디 춘된은 날 미당 냠바라 근데 팀에지데 랑게 삼모라 되듯이 날 미당 난 300원은 딘데지라 날 미당 냠바마도 날 미당 냠바야체
So how it is differentiated is that while in that state of equipoise of the total, pacification of the sufferings of pervasive conditioning, from that state, then from that state, then you're thinking, I will never arise from this state of equipoise ever, So there's one that is one kind, and then the other is from this state I will not like in the case of the Hinayana Arahants or Shavakas, then in the face of the individual practitioner's viewpoint, then generating the thought that I will not arise from this equipoise, as opposed to I will never ever arise from this state of equipoise.
지금 말이지. 미제바 가르에서는 아란데 바시게 타바 텐도니베 삼바기에 코가 레버 좀 말이지. 라니기 텐도 란데도 안에 가르에서는 냥냥고도 제바기 삼바기에 코가 좀 말이지. 란데 바시도 타바 텐도니베 삼바기에 코가 레버 좀베 남바 탐제도 치매도 사토바 일라.
So on the eighth bhumi, that equipoise of total pacification of the suffering from that equipoise, then the individual practitioner kind of abandons the thought of in the face of this equipoise that I'm not going to arise from it. In the face of this equipoise, then I'm not going to arise from it. They do not they abandon such a thinking. And why is that? It's because they have completely destroyed any thought of seeking, liberation solely for oneself. And so and it is for that reason that at this level, then it is said to be, in every way, in every respect, then it is irreversible. And tanda temengi khalu tanda chiksun sokara. Temengi wants.
Temengi nandangu chizu dela 팀에 왕도 지금 양양원도 제주지다 특징 왕도 지금 양양원도 제주 니요와다죠. 네. 시원 양양원도 제니세 양양원도 제주되는 니요와레스. 와. 랑기 사모라 되데 람미당 추진 양바샤 기당 larmitang chi nyamba shoba chi ni wares ro rang sangwa de larmitang wa de temen ji wang de chi nyang chi su de
So
ro
I already said that before, like, in actualizing liberation, then there are two modes for actualizing that liberation from the Hinayana perspective and the Mayana perspective, and that is in relation to never ever arising from that state of the equipoise of a total pacification, and then make, like in the case of the Hinayana Shravakas, then making in the face of one's own total pacification of suffering, then are not arising from that equipoise.
Ane nyamsha teki nga la kala nyamsha ki dewa ki tu chao ne ane shendun jun che dang ane temendu tunga da yuwa ma re de temendu tunga ki ane kakcha de yuwa yin zang ane yawa namji kasa nyamsha de la long ye dang ane sanje ku kuma chi he kasa re nyangan de du xie je 당제 빼막 가라서 처지 등이 된바이 세다 시위 세가나 텐다와들라 냠샤들라 산제고 구와 송고아리 산제 냠샤라 당한테로 구와
So in the sphere of that peace attained to the pacification of suffering of a pervasive condition, that state of that bliss of that equipoise can be a distraction, wherein which then there is occasion to cutting off the continuity of the work of benefiting as sentient beings, and that is when you have the Buddhas, then a kind of Buddhas kind of awakening you from that kind of state. So even though they have the potential for actualizing that liberation of the total pacification of suffering, yet choosing not to actualize it.
아니 스시냠니지 난조 퇴배스나 스시냠니 세대 냠니 난조 세대 가르래서나 스시냠니 그 좋았을 거래 스시냠니 그 좋았으나 스시 된동 스바코와의 시와 된동 무슨도 또 비셔럽지 심비 아니 난조지라 스시냠니 다산 난조지라 아니 스시냠니 그 좋았을 거래.
So this, that's in the stanza on page 125. Although they have the ability to actualize nirvana, that is the pacification of all pervading suffering, they have destroyed any possibility of the kind of mind arising that strives for liberation solely for their own welfare. They have attained, therefore, the level of the complete non-returner. And the next part is, having achieved the yoga of the equality of samsara and nirvana, all phenomena that appear during post-meditation sessions do so as was previously explained. So what is this yoga of the equality of samsara and nirvana? Is seeing samsara and nirvana as being empty of true existence, truly existing, directly perceiving samsara and nirvana as being empty of truly existing, is the yoga of the equality of samsara and nirvana. So
가소래 냠샤당 제도비 뒤지도 중화돼 아니 심정 살에 매래 그봐 냠지人肉馒头 냠지人肉 냠샤장提起来人 제도지 드니야 냠샤당 된저마도 냠샤당 제도미오디 뒤지도 중화돼 심정은 매래 봐 인자rin자 가마제도 중에 되미데 대두가 대신이랑 하나 못했는다.
So the line dwelling constantly in absorption in the meditative concentration of total peace does not refer to an uninterrupted continuation of a single meditative placement. So you cannot as ordinary sentient beings, then you cannot have a state of equipoise and post meditation, equipoise and post meditation at the same time. As sentient beings, the experience of an equipoise and a post meditation session happens alternatively. The two cannot be present. Equipoise and post meditation cannot be simultaneously present in the case of an ordinary sentient being. So when you say dwelling constantly in absorption in the meditative concentrated passage does not refer to an uninterrupted continuation of a single meditative placement.
아니 섬자라 최된 봐서 상제래 현대와 말이 그봐 인자 딩이 직자도 무슨도 시에 스바탈지 봐 대만이 군조된 바다 전단된 바다 로직이 직자도 무슨도 스바데 아니 상제라만도 요 말이 딩이 못하대도 집이 투마 세바르 빵바데 상제라만도 매와 인자 아대순 거래
because a direct and unobstructed mental placement upon suchness, while at the same time directly perceiving conventional phenomena and teaching sentient beings, is only possible for a Buddha. It means, therefore, that having completely dispelled co-striving, it is no great effort for these bodhisattvas to enter a meditative placement on suchness. And during the post-meditation sessions, it is not possible for all activities not to be held by the essence of core of that mental placement upon the direct perception of suchness. So, for there to be a continuous flow of both, for there to be a complete continuation of both the equipoise and post-meditation activities like that of giving Dharma teachings and so forth is something that occurs only in the state of Buddhahood, because it is only in the state of Buddhahood that one is able to see both the two truths at the same time with one mind. Being the conventional mind and the ultimate mind, the two truths, being seen by one mind at the same time is only possible in the state of Buddhahood, within which where the contamination of seeing the two truths as separately is completely exhausted.
Oh yeah, tena zora ba nyawa shibe, ta yege be zora ba nyawa shibe, tishi la nyamba jobi be zo chimbo mebata, taba se be zo chimbo mebata. 제도지 차와 꾸네 다 돈이 무슨 도비 냠샤테기 시 마심바지 냠샤키 마심바지 미시비치 냠샤키 마심바 미시비치 와
when we talk about dwelling constantly in absorption in meditative concentration of total pacification, what it means is that is therefore that it has having completely dispelled coarse striving, and it is no great effort for these bodhisattvas to enter a meditative placement on suchness. And Tony Mosum topic has more.
Nyamsha take it, see, don't you Muslim to be sick, Simbacha, Nyamsha take it, see, Masimba Maris. And Nyamsha take it, see, sir, Nyamsha take a shoe, take a Masimba Maris.
And in the post-meditation sessions, then, when engaging in other activities, conventional activities, then it's not possible for those activities to be flavored by that mind of having realized that emptiness.
Oh yeah, that take Sajava Chimedo body to Simba in Baja.
So this is the 8th level of a non-returner.
Jabala Suba Chimedo by that, Tilmachi Gana Saguava Tang Sajua Tomataba Marita, the Tomata, the Beja Tomata, the Tomataba so. And then Tedatan, Demba, Tenjuko Gonso, such a Jabala Yobi and then your body. Saguavada, such a tomataba, so I in that number, only 20 cocoa,
and all of the qualities that are attributed to the bodhisattvas who have attained the 8th level, those qualities are also present in those who have attained the 9th level, and as well as those that who have kind of for the first time attained the 10th level, just immediately attained the 10th level.
That you to talk about any Tilepizo Juju, Dang, Telatene, and Tilepeme to Jubatampani.
And the qualities of those obstructed by one life then is those qualities, the causes of the complete perfection of enlightened activities and the effortlessly engaging in the enlightened qualities, relying on those methods. So the qualities are the causes of complete perfection of enlightened qualities come from the causes of effortless enlightened activity and the knowledge of the appropriate enlightened activities for benefiting sentient beings.
So
root verse is 73. Due to the impulse of the aspirational wishes and so forth, earlier on the 9th ground and below, and because of being devoid of all the motivational conceptuality, 10th ground bodhisattvas in their last lifetime do not need to strive and exert themselves for the sake of ripening embodied beings.
아니 힌두 제삼야지 텐체 제바 주지 냠도 아니 랑게 판방원도 땅네 원도 펜베 왕다니 배소라바다 오래 덴바시베 남도다 차신 세오 배소라바 차와다 아니 원보다 대화시바 오래 덴바시베가 된증게 남도다 차위칠.
So because of the power of their previously planted intentions, referring to the coarse or obvious striving in which they prayed that they would be able to effortlessly and spontaneously work for the good of sentient beings, and because they are divorced from all conceptuality of apprehending the true existence of phenomena, the bodhisattvas obstructed by one life can spontaneously engage in working to ripen living beings by teaching. So, so these bodhisattvas, they have no sort of coarse form of effort, so Bemel hundred the so they have effortless and spontaneous way of benefiting sentient beings, but the effort is when we talk about effortless in the sense of no coarse or gross form of effort in engaging in the activities of benefiting others, and also engaged in those activities free of the grasping at true existence. When we talk about
Shindo member Sarunga Nashinchani. Ane Lam Gombi Nidurumala, Lamtata de Tobata de Kiwi, and Kasoi Mirung.
So, working to ripen living beings, ripen in the what it means is enabling sentient beings to to meditate on the path. Like when a fruit has ripened, it becomes edible. When an abscess or boil becomes ripened, then you burst it. So like, and when a ripened sentient beings is, then enabling them to meditate on the path. So ripening sentient beings, ripening embodied beings, and doing the activities to ripen them, then is again different. Ripening sentient beings and doing the activities to ripen them. Undertaking those activities to ripen sentient beings, then that refers to, emanating out, hundreds and millions of emanations of your body in hundreds and millions of these fields, and each one of these bodies then creating the potency for sentient beings' mind to be ripened on the path. And so to ripen sentient beings, then not having to rely upon on a great striving of a motivation to benefit sentient beings or to ripen sentient beings, but being able to accomplish it effortlessly and spontaneously.
네가 소 안에 그래서 라바시에 대가서는 니니 체된비 끌롱 조와 라바냐와 시와라샤니 끌롱 요아리 라 끌롱 도바냐와 시와데 산제반바 산제는 많이 요메아리 완자 체된비 끌롱 조와 라바냐와 라바야냐와 시네 다 체된바랑 앙암 슈시 끌롱 라바라 마데바 앙암 슈지기 아니 현대 배면은 주바다 주바주아레스
So, and then it is true that holding to the true existence of phenomena is an obscuration by affliction and is therefore abandoned on the 8th level. But here, any manifest striving for the motivation for teaching the Dharma has been removed, and they naturally engage in effortless work for the welfare of others. So, on this 8th level, afflicted obscurations have all been abandoned. So, this form of grasping at truly existent functional phenomena here refers to this grasping here refers to that gross motivation. Having pacified that kind of gross motivation for benefiting sentient beings. Stop here. Choganamda Shila Chabasho
Idang Guru Rana Mendala Kanyadaya